Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 22 with me, Dan, and the Slothz team coming to you from the future of what's going on screen at the moment, because at the time the commentary I provided was pretty shocking. This was recorded early on a Sunday morning when I was extremely hungover. And not hungover because I had a great time the night before, hungover because I remembered that I had to do my home Grand Prix for the next video in a car which doesn't know how to go fast. So anyway, that turned out to go, well, very differently to how I was expecting. So at the moment we're just going through before we realise what's going to happen. And just fill up the activity list with pretty much as we can to get as much acclaim for the team and for ourselves and resource points as physically possible. We can't buy any facility upgrades, but we do have a quick look over at R&D. We've got a huge amount of upgrades that are about to finish in a day, and there's the performance graph. You can see as of Azerbaijan we are behind Williams, and over here we're just doing a little bit of a switch around with the components for the next race. But then move on to the next one. We actually lost the engine cover weight reduction, which was a bit of a pain because that's kind of the overpowered one that we want to have. So we just straight back into R&D, waste half of our resource points on doing that again. And, well, at least we got some spark plugs, we got some more straight line speed. We need to get engine upgrade number 3 at some point in the near future. And, yeah, also pick up that ERS upgrade because we're having trouble with that as well. We are approaching the end of the tunnel. We are seeing the light. It's just taking a very, very long time to get there. There we go, the engine cover. All done again, only 157 resource points, so we carry on up until a few days before the race. There's the side pods that we've got. I don't know why I'm even bothering to look through at the moment, because there's absolutely nothing that we can afford besides potentially that gearbox durability upgrade, which, let's be fair, nobody wants right now and nobody needs. There we go, the cylinder head, that's what we want to be getting next, because that is a major power unit upgrade, and that will help us immensely if we can get hold of that. And our ERS upgrade came through. We had a little bit of a Pirelli hot lap, which I went and did and failed spectacularly at, so we moved on to practice, where as before we spent as much time as possible picking up resource points and then trying to get some of these development boosts as well, failing a drag reduction upgrade, then going on for a drag reduction system upgrade, which also failed, and then just moving on to the 100%ers. So just try and get as many guaranteed points as possible. Again, over to resource points for the second round. We haven't had a sprint race yet, as we see another component fail to unlock. So we've still got the full suite of practice sessions for this Grand Prix at least. And we did pick up a little bit of extra cash in the Pirelli hot lap, which is something, I suppose. More DRS upgrades on the car. The game is orientated itself to try and force me to buy that gearbox durability upgrade at this point, and it's becoming increasingly more likely that I'm going to have to just bite the bullet and get it, so that it will leave me alone, because we really want anything in drag reduction, anything in weight reduction, and anything in engine power and ERS if possible. Engine power to get us up to the speed of the other cars again. Drag reduction and weight reduction, of course, to make the car lighter and more aerodynamic in a straight line. And the ERS, so we can actually get round a warm-up lap with battery left over to do a hot lap for qualifying, which genuinely is a problem that we're having at the moment. All of the upgrades there that we've gotten a boost for are coming through. You can see gearbox improved materials is now incredibly cheap, but we still refuse to buy it. And most importantly, that cylinder head picked up a tasty little discount as well. I believe we'll be eyeing that one up sometime in the next video. It might even be beyond that. It depends how many resource points we can pick up. And just for the record, we are approaching level 9, so we're nearly able to buy that second sponsor very soon. So, moving on to qualifying, we get around Q1 in our first lap. Small mistake at the end, but we place ahead of Alex Albon. So for this bit, I accidentally replaced an engine component in part Ferme, which meant that at this point I was going to be starting roughly at the back anyway. So we decide in just a second to fit an entire new power unit and just start from the back anyway. We're probably going to have to do it at some point this season, so it makes sense to just get it over and done with now that I've accidentally screwed up. Anyway, it's time to get on with the race. So here we are then, our home Grand Prix. It has come round at last, and we will be hoping to, at the very least, impress the crowd. Hopefully not by flipping our car into a wire fence, or by mounting a horrible defeat at the hands of every other team on the grid. No, perhaps we will do something good today. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you know when more hungover videos have been uploaded. And we'll get on with the starting grid. And it is, amazingly, the two Mercedes on the front row of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell at their home Grand Prix, followed by their big rivals Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez in the Red Bulls. Then we have Valtteri Bottas in the first Ferrari-powered machinery alongside Lando Norris in the McLaren. Then Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon once again make it into the top 10, starting P7 and 8. Then rounding out the top 10, we have Kevin Magnussen and Sebastian Vettel. Moving on from them, we have Carlos Sainz, who took a big penalty. He starts P11 alongside Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren. Then we have Pierre Gasly in P13, starting alongside Zhou Guanyu in the other Alfa Romeo. Followed by Alex Albon and Théo Pourchaire, our teammates. He's up in P16 again. Charles Leclerc, another driver with a massive penalty, starts alongside Lance Stroll in 17th and 18th. Then we have Mick Schumacher with another penalty, and Yuki Tsunoda, I believe, also with a penalty, followed by Nicholas Latifi and us with a penalty. Well, we'll be doing our best not to make a mess of things here. We'll leave the Mercedes duo to duke it out at the front to see who will come out on top between them and hopefully not wipe each other out in front of their home crowd. As we see Yuki Tsunoda all over the place there as we have a very tentative start. But we go around the outside of Nicholas Latifi into turn 1 and into turn 2. And Yuki Tsunoda has smashed us off the track. Disgusting move from the Japanese driver. He drives off with no consideration whether we're okay or not, and has decided to put Nicholas Latifi de facto at the back of the field. You can see that we're already dropping back massively, nearly 2 seconds from the rest of the field, and just having a look for any damage there. The tyres are all warmed up, which is something, and we may actually have been able to recover quick enough for this not to have been a massive issue. This is the onboard from the start. You can see we didn't have the best of getaways anyway on the medium tyre. Not to be expected. Yuki Tsunoda all over the place there. But we plant one round the outside of Latifi and just mind our own business down the inside. Just get sideswiped by an AlphaTauri. Not the start that you want to have for your home Grand Prix. On board with the maniac himself. Already swerving all over the road before we've even started. There he goes. What is that about? Coming through turn 1, he makes an absolute mess of it and nearly gets overtaken by Williams and just turns in on us whilst trying to go up the inside of Vettel or Stroll. Anyway, we rejoin, approaching, well, over the halfway mark of lap 1, and we've managed to get the gap down very slightly with everyone battling on lap 1. It has helped slow everyone down, and Nicholas Latifi gets run wide, and we go round the outside of him at the exit of Maggots and Beckett, and now we chase down our new enemy, Yuki Tsunoda. who is just up the road ahead of us. Now, I must say, I have not meddled with the settings for this at all, but for the first time since getting this My Team car, we have been able to dial in my hungover state. I was able to dial in. I had the perfect setup, the perfect drive. You'll see what happens later on in this race, but for the time being, we've already managed to catch up and overtake a Williams on the soft tyre, which probably won't amount to much considering what you could do in this game is win a world championship and beat all the teams, not just Williams. But we have been struggling to beat Nicholas Latifi for quite some time, as we see Théo Pourchaire in a massive battle up ahead with Lance Stroll and Mick Schumacher. We dive down the inside of Tsunoda, who just swerves to the left, and I think he's dead. No, he is still there. Up ahead, though, Théo Pourchaire bravely defending from Mick Schumacher and Lance Stroll. Unfortunately, he's lost the battle against the Haas, and now Lance Stroll's going to be loading up a move on him, but we're going to be taking advantage of this because it turns out that we are the fastest car on track through Sector 2. So we've got a massive advantage when it comes to exiting onto the hangar straight here. Stroll goes to the outside of Pourchaire. Pourchaire defends to the inside. It's going to give us a great opportunity here to have a look at Stroll. We actually get a bit of oversteer there, but we managed to pull it back to the inside and try to go up the inside of him now, but he's just squeezing us and we get forced over the sausage curb. He's actually got some damage there as Yuki Tsunoda attempts to get passes for the first time in 5 or 6 races, whatever round we're on now. It's round 6, I believe. We've actually got some cars we can race. We get the elbows out there just because Yuki Tsunoda forced us off the track. But racing we are doing. As Stroll and Pourchaire continue their battle on lap 3, we are positioning well. Much like Latifi, he messes up the exit of Magnets and Beckett's. We get a great run on our teammate now with DRS. And in the superior speed advantage that we have with the DRS, we swoop down the inside. And we are quite happily up into P18, which is one of the best positions that we have been on merit for quite some time since Saudi Arabia. Anyway, lap 6 comes along, and look who it is. It's Mick Schumacher, Pierre Gasly, and Zhou Guanyu. Now, all 3 of these cars have been in a mini DRS train since the DRS was enabled 3 or 4 laps ago. And we dive down the inside of Mick Schumacher. Amazingly, he's managed to hold it round the outside, but we stick with him, go down the inside into the club section. Round we go, and Club and Vale, I believe, is the combination of corners there, and we've got through. We've overtaken a Haas. We're up into P17. We've nearly matched our best ever finish on merit, which was, I believe, P16 in Saudi Arabia, or P14, it was one of them. It wasn't very good, it scored no points, but here we go. Zhou Guanyu and Gasly have inverted each other, and we go looking down the inside of Zhou Guanyu, and he does chicken out of it. Just the experience of that driver, not quite enough to match us, and he swerves around, thinking he's about to be completely incinerated by our skills. As we continue the chase, Pierre Gasly is next on the chopping block. We've got past Tsunoda, which means that we should be able to get past Pierre Gasly without too many difficulties. He's got no DRS advantage. We, of course, have plenty of overtake left. DRS, and we go down the inside at the end of the hangar straight and get another position up to P14. We've seen Daniel Ricciardo come into the pits up ahead, who started on the soft tyre for some reason. He's got a long way to go to the end of the race. It doesn't look as though that tyre's got him very far. It looks as though he may have just been holding up this big train. Oh no, we'll get to that train in a moment. This was the onboard from Zhou Guanyu and us. Battling without too much on the screen. You can see we just plant a wheel on the curb, go up the inside, and he just can't handle the situation and chickens out there. riding on board from his perspective. Goes a little wide, leaves the door open for us, and it's like, oh my god, I've let him through. Just hits the brakes, swerves to the left slightly, and the position is ours. Anyway, we're in P13 now, thanks to the stop from Ricciardo. And up ahead, yes, the train. At the front of this train is a Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. He's ahead of Kevin Magnussen, who's a few cars ahead of us now. Carlos Sainz running with a technical problem on board, but is also refusing to allow his teammate to go past. So not only is he hurting Ferrari's chances of scoring points for himself, but he's also hurting his teammates' chances of scoring points. And it's creating this incredible battle up at the front between Red Bull and Mercedes. Then there's a big gap to a bunch of random cars as we're about to pull a move on Ocon. Yes, we are. Down the inside. That's another car. He is going to fight it, though. He's fighting it. We push him wide, Verstappen style, but he's going to stay with us. We hit the brakes now into Club and Vale. He's still there alongside us, but we managed to shut the door on him, and he's not able to come back at us anymore. But yes, you can see there's a big gap. There's a McLaren there, Lando Norris, I guess Valtteri Bottas and Fernando Alonso ahead of the two Ferraris, just chilling in their own little DRS train as we ride on board with our move on Ocon. And then you come back to our group with the two Ferraris and then this bunch all sat in each other's way. There's Ocon on our inside. We'll watch his on board in a moment to see what exactly the ordeal was that he went through. Here it is. So he's forced to run wide. I believe that is a track extend, forced or not. He goes down the inside into Club and Vale. And there we go. We've already got the better line out of the corner. We rejoin the action on lap 12. We are chasing down Kevin Magnussen and Sebastian Vettel. Up ahead, there's a Ferrari. That's probably Carlos Sainz, given the fact that the other Ferrari is now halfway down the straight up ahead and doesn't seem to be experiencing any slowness at the moment. I say that as he dives into the pit lane. And we continue to chase down the Aston Martin now. Yeah, there's Charles Leclerc in the pit lane. A whole bunch of cars in there at the moment. There's two leaders, one Red Bull, one Mercedes up ahead. Not come in just yet. Then us. Also, Mick Schumacher stayed out. But otherwise, pit lane, very busy at the moment. With all the cars trying to get the undercut. We'll rejoin at the end of lap 13 when we will be coming into the pits. As we have what is quite definitively the best pit stop on the game so far. Perfectly timed with the pits limiter there as we came down towards the pit entrance. Up ahead, Carlos Sainz and the Aston Martin of Sebastian Vettel, a four-time world champion. In goes Sainz. Ocon's coming in as well. And Gasly, we turn in. We get an optimal turn in. The pit crew, tyres off, tyres on. Perfect timing. We get a perfect pull away. We look behind. There is Carlos Sainz and Sebastian Vettel. Both cars came into the pits ahead of us. Both will exit behind us. So we can live very happy there. Nearly bin it into the barrier on the way out. But we are ahead nonetheless. And now we just need to do what we consider to be the impossible. The worst car on the grid versus the best car, the Ferrari, on the grid. What can we do to defend from Carlos Sainz? He's got problems. He's running slow. But can he get past us? He's incredibly fast down the Wellington Straight. But he's made a mistake there as we go round the outside. We've managed to get him before he manages to pull a big gap. We run wide with the cold tyres. And it appears to have messed him up because he's actually lost another position to Ocon and Kevin Magnussen. And now he's in a bit of a predicament because he's just trailing back after being run wide there, as we ride on board now for a bit of a wide angle shot just to see he's all the way back there being overtaken by Sebastian Vettel. Daniel Ricciardo, may have a look at him as well as we go through Magnets and Beckett's at 1,000 miles an hour. DRS will not be in operation for us, of course, because we haven't followed anyone through here. But can we outrun an Alpine and a Haas with no DRS? Incredibly, the setup that we have on is I don't know. It's slippery enough, I guess, is the word, to pull away and not lose position to Esteban Ocon. And up the road, we are 4.5 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas. Or should I say, we are now 2 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas and 4.5 seconds ahead of Esteban Ocon. So, up ahead, we've got 2 Mercedes, followed by 2 Red Bulls, followed by a Ferrari, followed by Fernando Alonso, as we set the fastest lap. Lando Norris, Valtteri Bottas, and us, with Esteban Ocon rounding out the top 10 at the moment. We've caught them on lap 23 as they continue to bicker over who's going to get 8 points versus 6 and 4. We, of course, haven't scored any points this season, so anything is good enough for us. At the moment, sitting in a 2 points paying position, but of course, with 3 and a bit laps to go, there is absolutely no reason why we can't take a few more of these positions off them. At the very least, we can get Valtteri Bottas, then Fernando Alonso, and then just to add a cherry on the top, we could catch Lando Norris as well, as we get a great run on the Alfa Romeo, but he's actually very fast at a straight line. We're going to have to get him on the brakes now as we come down towards Vale. He's all over the grass trying to defend, but we go up the inside. He swerves to the left. He's hit us! He's hit us from the side. That's disgusting from Valtteri Bottas. How dare he try to wipe us out in a move that only we would try on someone else. He tries to go around us. We say absolutely not after that move. Valtteri Bottas, you will not get the satisfaction of retaking 8th place after that move. You will have to sit back there and look at the back of our purple and green car. This was our onboard. Round the outside, we see Bottas swerve, and he just doesn't turn it to the corner. He must have known it was there. He's already done it 23 times beforehand. And that's just this season. Here he is. He doesn't run as wide as Ocon, but he does lock up on the way in to the corner, and, well, that is what has ultimately caused us to have some front wing end plate damage. And there is the blocking manoeuvre we pulled on him just to make sure that he didn't even try anything funny. And here we are, 1.5 laps to go. Fernando Alonso, Lando Norris, up ahead. McLaren, Alpine, Slothz, Alfa Romeo, somehow Ferrari. Carlos Sainz appears to have fixed his issue and is now pulling away from Carlos Sainz, Kevin Magnussen and Sebastian Vettel. We, on the other hand, are the more important thing. But up ahead, there is a Mercedes in the pit lane. It's one of them. Who is it? We're not going to find out until we've managed to try and go past them. But Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso will be emptying the battery. But we move up to P7 for George Russell's in the pits for some reason. Must have made contact with a Red Bull. Talking of Red Bulls, they've been caught by Charles Leclerc. We will be trying to catch Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso because there's now 10 points on the line for whoever can get to the front of this queue. And there's only half a lap to do it. DRS is open. Fernando Alonso weaving around, trying to break the tow. Has not been able to catch Norris. Of course, with them both draining the battery at the same time now. We're going to pull a move up the inside of Alonso. He makes the same mistake as Joe Guan Yu, and it's allowed us to pull through and escape up the road. But Lando Norris, that is the grand prize. Can we get 10 points? That would put us way up the table from where we are now, and with the lower teams being very crap, they would have some issues trying to overtake us in the Constructors' Championship. We're only guaranteeing ourselves even more money at the end of the season. But we haven't been able to make a great exit there. We're running out of battery. Lando Norris apparently isn't running out of battery. As we come down towards the final few corners, Lewis Hamilton sets the fastest lap right at the end, followed by Charles Leclerc beating his fastest lap. We're not going to get the fastest lap again. We lock up, trying to go past Lando Norris, and that allows Fernando Alonso to go around the outside. It's going to be a battle for the line. Fernando Alonso still there as we go around the final corner, but we've managed to do it, and we crash into the wall in spectacular fashion to try and finish in style in front of the crowd. Radiant Slothz, of course, doing his best to make sure that he litters the track with pieces of his car as souvenirs for the track invasion, which will inevitably happen right after the podium celebrations begin to start. But it is Lewis Hamilton who takes another win at Silverstone in front of his home crowd. Not very often do we see the Mercedes win on this career mode. In fact, I have a feeling the only drivers that have won so far are Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. So to see a change in the air at long last is most welcome, even if it is Lewis Hamilton, who has won 182 million races in his entire career. But that will certainly shake up the championship. Of course, with Charles Leclerc scoring fairly well in this race, he'll begin to reduce the gap to his teammate, who has been dominating for quite a while. His teammate, of course, finished all the way down in 10th, I believe. We'll see in just a moment, and he may have picked up a penalty, or may have been overtaken again. We'll just have to find out. But yes, that should make things very interesting. And now we join the ranks of the point scorers. Not that that's going to make any difference to the championship, but we're on there, and it might just help gain some extra few millions. And here are the final results. Of course, we know that Mercedes won with Lewis Hamilton, followed by Max Verstappen's Red Bull, and Charles Leclerc picks up the fastest lap in the Ferrari. They were followed by Sergio Perez, Lando Norris, ourselves for once, Fernando Alonso, Valtteri Bottas, Carlos Sainz, and Esteban Ocon in the top 10. So over at the Drivers' Championship, Carlos Sainz remains at the top of the table ahead of his teammate Charles Leclerc by 19 points. That it's a short jump back now to Lewis Hamilton, who takes third position in the championship. Then we have Max Verstappen, George Russell, Sergio Perez, Fernando Alonso, Lando Norris, Kevin Magnussen drops a position, and Valtteri Bottas. Kind of further down the order, Esteban Ocon is actually tied for 9th. Then it's us now in 12th with 8 points, followed by Mick Schumacher, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, and Yuki Tsunoda round out the point scorers, followed by Joe Guanyu, Alex Albon, Lance Stroll, Teo Pourchaire, and Nicholas Latifi. And over in the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari remain at the top of the table, 38 points clear of rivals Mercedes. Then it's a jump back to Red Bull in third. Then we have Alpine leading the best of the rest ahead of Haas, then McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Slothz, Alfa Tauri, Aston Martin, and Williams. That's all for now.